Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. It's so hot out, I decided to put a much cooler background on this. I wish I was up in Alaska right now and enjoying much cooler weather. So, hope you all are surviving COVID and staying cool in all this crazy heat that we have. Today's topic is Social Security benefits. So, we are going to spend a few minutes talking about Social Security benefits. There is an enormous amount to talk about, but I try to keep these to 10 minutes. So, a quick overview of the most pertinent details today. And certainly, as always, if you ever have more questions or need more detailed answers about your specific situation, feel free to contact us anytime you want. All right, so if you're new to our program, real quick, the Foundation for Personal Financial Education is a nationwide nonprofit organization. Whole idea of this organization is to be able to do financial education without the sales or the biases that we see out there in the wonderful dinner seminars and other events that are going on out there. Legal disclaimer, everything we talk about is for educational purposes only. Please utilize your CPAs, financial advisors, attorneys, whoever it is that you need to apply these things to your own specific situation. So let's dig in. So I always like to make sure that we point out a few things that are different when we talk about Social Security when there's a spouse involved. I always preach that it is a we decision when you are married as opposed to an I decision when you are single, and you have to look at Social Security that way. So there are some spousal benefits out there if you are married. If a spouse is receiving, or if a spouse has less income history or no income history, we do have a living spousal benefit, which would equal half of the primary worker's Social Security benefit if started at full retirement age. And if you start earlier, then it gets reduced. So if you have a spouse that has never worked in the system or paid into Social Security, they can still get a Social Security benefit, and it would be half of the primary worker's benefit at full retirement age. The other side of this is, what if one spouse passes away? And this is where the we decision really comes in, becomes very important. So a surviving spouse will receive the higher of the two if a few qualifiers are out there. And I want to make sure you understood that. The higher of the two, if one spouse is receiving $2,000 a month and another spouse is receiving $1,000 a month, and either of them passes away, the surviving spouse gets $2,000 a month and the single $1,000 a month disappears. So couples must have been married for at least 9 months at the date of death, except in the case of an accident. So if a coroner rules it an accident, then that 9 months is waived. Survivor must be at least 60 for reduced benefits or 50 if disabled. You would have to wait till full retirement age for the full benefit. So keep in mind, the earlier you take, the less benefit you will have. Survivor's benefits are not available if the widower remarries before the age 60. So wait till 60 in a day and then get remarried. And then you'll have the ability to take a previous spouse's, a deceased spouse's Social Security if it's higher. And then divorces, the survivor benefit is still available as long as you were married for at least 10 years. So even if you got married when you were 20 and got divorced when you were 30, and now you're looking at Social Security 40 years later, and you're looking at taking Social Security, even though it's been a long time since you've taken, or since you divorced this spouse, you may still be entitled to their Social Security benefits. So keep that in mind. It doesn't matter how long you have been divorced, it mattered how long you were married. And whether you take their benefit or not, it doesn't affect them at all. So then we talk about things like when to take, and when Social Security is a large part of your retirement income, you really have to make the right decisions. For a lot of people, when to take Social Security is actually one of the more important financial decisions you can make. So things that we have to look at in each individual situation. This isn't comprehensive. This is just the primary things we look at right away. Health and longevity. If you are unhealthy and not going to live much longer, then hurry up and take Social Security and get as much as you can. But certainly, if you are healthy and have longevity in the family and you are already in your 60s, the likelihood of you living quite a long time is very possible. So we do have to take that into account. Then there's the need to use IRA money now at lower taxation rather than later at higher taxation. This is a big planning technique. If I see somebody heading into retirement and they have a mountain of IRA money, we need to pay attention to the taxation that's going on and the opportunity to get money out of that IRA status at lower taxation. If you add Social Security into the mix, then you are increasing your income base, which allows you to pull less and less out of your IRA. So we do have to take this into account. If you are asset heavy, and right here is the disparity of income versus savings. If you have lots of savings and it happens to all be IRA, then we need to really pay attention to that from a planning perspective. And then the influence of passing to heirs versus spending on the last dollar on the last day. This can certainly influence things. Now imagine if you have savings and you wanted to spend that savings, if you did not have enough income to pay the bills, if your savings was gone, then you're going to have a hard time spending your last dollar on your last day. You're always going to be afraid of having to live on just Social Security, or if you have a pension. If that doesn't pay the bills, then you'll never spend your last dollar. You'll be too afraid to. So the bigger income helps people spend their money. And that's really important to understand. It actually makes you need that money less, because if you run out of money, you still have good income and you can pay the bills. So waiting and taking a higher Social Security helps you actually spend your money. So that's just one way to look at that as well. So these are just some of the factors that you have to look at. It's not just math. It's really important that you understand the math, but everybody is in a different situation. And plenty of people look at this and say, bird in the hand, I want to retire young and I want to start taking that Social Security sooner than later. I'm not a doomsdayer. I don't think Social Security will go away. I think my benefits will get affected. I think that they may tweak and change the program and move my retirement age out further. But the reality is that people that are already there that are taking Social Security, you might not get as big of cost of living adjustments in the future, but I don't think it'll disappear. That means the US dollar is gone. I mean, we just have to be realistic about that. So yes, Social Security financially is not great, but they can paper over that. It's very easy to print some extra dollars, as we're seeing happen right now. So I don't know that I would take it just because you think it'll disappear, but everybody has their own reasons for what they do. I just want to make sure people understand the math on this. So let's look at this math. I'm going to put a chart up here and it'll help you understand the choices of taking early versus late. And now, so this chart's going to be based on an example. That's somebody that is going to be born after 1960 and a full retirement age Social Security benefit of $2,000. If you're married, just imagine this is the higher of the two wage earners. And then the longer you wait, the more you will make. Okay, so put the chart up here, and the next bullet point I say here is going down the left side. That's this right here, okay? This is the age when you choose to trigger income, okay? So whether you're 62 to 70, this is your year that you choose to trigger the income. This is percentage of the full retirement benefit, and this is the dollar amount. So you can see at 67, anybody born after 1960, the full retirement age is 67, and you have $2,000 a month for Social Security benefits, okay? Now, across the top is the age when you pass away. And if you're married, this is the age when the second person passes away, because the higher the two survives the first passing, okay? So the way we do this math here is pretty easy. All we do is the accumulation of how many dollars you have received. So if you take at the beginning of 70 and at the end of 70 you pass away, 2480 times 12 is $32,000 worth of income. Well, if you knew you were going to die at 70, you should certainly take at 62, because you would have received $157,000 in money from Social Security office. So you can see the bolded one is the highest number of the columns. So if you know when you're going to die, this is the hard part. If you know when you're going to die, then we know mathematically exactly when to take Social Security. So if you think you'll live to 75, well, the math says that you should take at 62. But if you wait till if you die when you're 80, then it's 68 you should take Social Security, because that's 379,000 in your pocket, and that's better than any of other choices here. Okay, but notice we hit 85. If you are single and you live past 85, then you should wait till 70 to take your Social Security, because 70 to 85, 15 years of receiving 2480, that's $556,000 in your pocket, and that's better than any of your other choices, and that will continue to be that way from there on out. So if you're married, you have to think about it like this: what's the likelihood of one of you living past 85? And I can tell you statistically, mathematically, it's a pretty good chance that one of you is going to live past 85 if you're healthy in your 60s. So typically, and I only say typically, it's really important for you to understand the difference. Typically, it's important that the higher wage earner in a married couple situation wait as long as possible to take Social Security, because that higher wage earner's benefit will survive their passing. And that helps financially the person who is the survivor. Okay, so that's all I got for today. I know that's a real basic overview, and it's important that we understand there's a lot of other situations with Social Security that need addressing, but we try to make these small and easy and quick little topics. More than happy to help out for anybody that has more questions or needs a better understanding of their own specific choices. So feel free to contact us anytime you want, 800-345-3155. We always offer up free consultations from the nonprofit side, so we're always willing to help and answer any questions that you would like. Give us a call or visit our website, which isn't on the screen. I should have it on there. The fpfeaz.org. So follow the bouncing ball. fpfeaz.org is our website. Thanks for joining us.